This video is going to go over number 9 and number 10. These are the solving exponential equations and solving logarithmic equations. First thing I want you to note is that it says, if needed, round to 3 decimal places. So say we have this number. We want it rounded to 3 numbers after the decimal. Remember that you need to look at the number that comes next to decide, would I leave this 8.713 or would I bump it up to 8.714? In this case, you would leave it 8.713. But what if this was like this? Then you would bump this up to 8.714. Make sure you are rounding correctly, because the system will be looking for that correct rounding. First one, e to the 3x minus 3 equals e to the x minus 6. Exponents on both sides. The e's are the same on both sides. So e to the stuff equals e to the other stuff. The stuff is going to equal the other stuff. So we would subtract x on both sides to get 2x minus 3 equals negative 6. Add 3 on both sides to get 2x equals negative 3. Divide both sides by 2 to get x equals negative 3/2. And I think the answer key that I uploaded today has this one incorrect. It has x equals negative 2/3 when it's actually x equals negative 3/2. So this is correct, x equals negative 3/2. And I believe you can type it in as negative 3 divided by 2, or you can type it in as negative 1.5. I will check that really quick and see how the system is accepting your answer. Okay, I just checked. The system will accept either answer. So negative 3 divided by 2 or negative 1.5 are both considered correct answers. Okay, part B. Solve the equation 3e to the 3 minus x minus 5 equals 20. We need to get the thing that has the exponent by itself. So we need to get rid of that 5 on both sides. So we now have 3e to the 3 minus x equals 15. Then we need to divide both sides by 3. So now we have e to the 3 minus x equals 5. Now we are stuck with an exponent that has x in it. Anytime you're stuck, do the log ride and change forms. Whee! Log base e of 5 equals 3 minus x. You need to remember that log base e is exactly the same as ln. So anytime you write log base e, you can replace that with ln. ln of 5 equals 3 minus x. ln of 5 you can do in your calculator. ln of 5 is 1.609. Subtract 3 on both sides, so you can take 1.609 minus 3. Negative 1.391. I'm going to just come right up here. Make sure I got that number correct. Sometimes my short-term memory, I get the number wrong. Equals, and notice that we subtracted the 3. We still have negative x. So that means that x is going to be positive 1.391. And it said round to the nearest, like 3 places after the decimal. That's for the numbers you have to type in. Since this is multiple choice, it looks like this is our correct answer. Okay, part C. I hope I have enough room. I'll have to do my work over here, kind of. All right, this is log on both sides. Log base 2 of stuff equals log base 2 of stuff. Because log base 2 is the same on both sides, the stuff is the same on both sides. So x plus 5 equals 2x minus 4. So I've got 5 equals x minus 4. I've got x equals 9. In part D, we've got log base 3 of stuff equals 2. There's nothing in front of the log. There's nothing added or subtracted after the log, so we're kind of stuck. We need to change forms. Woo! The most common error on this problem is that people try to rewrite this back in logarithmic form. This has a log. We don't want to write it with a log. We want to start with a 3. 3 squared equals 2x minus 5. So 9 equals 2x minus 5. Add 5 to both sides. 14 equals 2x. So x equals 7. All right, let's move on to number 10. Number 10 is where there might be extraneous solutions. And notice it says specifically check for extraneous solutions. Okay, so I see 2 logs on one side. That means we need to start by condensing. So your first step is to condense the logs to get log base 6 of x times 2x minus 6 equals 2. Okay, your second step is to change forms. Change this to exponential form. Woo! 6. 6 squared equals x times 2x minus 6. Your next step is to multiply and simplify. So 6 squared is 36. And this is x times 2x is 2x squared. Negative 6 times x is negative 6x. Then you want to get 0 and factor and solve. So 0 equals 2x squared minus 6x minus 36. Now you might be thinking, hold on, Mrs. Gilmore, there's a number in front of that x squared, and that makes factoring more difficult. I don't like that. But notice that all of these numbers are even. So divide everything by 2. You've got x squared minus 3x minus 18. That makes it much easier to factor. You are looking for 2 numbers that multiply to give you negative 18 and add up to negative 3. If you need to write them out, 1 times 18, 2 times 9, 3 times 6. We need numbers that are going to add up to negative 3. That would be 3 and 6. So x plus 3, x minus 6, which means our solutions are negative 3 and positive 6. Your final step is to check those solutions. It says specifically check for extraneous solutions. That's not going to specifically be in the directions if there wasn't a chance that one of these doesn't work. When you check, you have to go back to the original equation. So let's try negative 3. If we put negative 3 right here, we have log base 6 of negative 3. You cannot have negatives inside logs. So if you put that negative 3 in, you've got a log base 6 of negative 3. That is bad. So negative 3 doesn't work. Now let's try 6. Log base 6 of 6, that's positive. If we plug it in here, 2 times 6 is 12. 12 minus 6 is still positive. So 6 is good. So our answer is x equals 6. Notice you've got these here to try to throw you off. So you really have to check for those extraneous solutions. And then part B, what is the extraneous solution? We did have an extraneous solution. Negative 3 was our extraneous solution. Okay, part C and D is a whole new problem. So let's start this whole new problem. Okay, our first step is going to be to condense. That will make this log base 3 of x squared times 9 equals 3. Our second step is to change forms. Woo! 3 cubed equals x squared times 9. And then I'm just going to like simplify all of that. So I've got 9 equals, or nope, that's not 9. 3 to the third is 27, and you can try that in your calculator if you don't believe me. 27. And this is 9x squared. Now all we have is x squared, so we can just solve this. So in our solving step, we're going to divide both sides by 9. 27 divided by 9 is 3. Square root both sides. When we square root both sides, we have to put a plus minus in there. And notice our answers have decimals, so we need to go ahead and do the square root of 3 and get that decimal. 1.732 plus or minus 1.732. Now we need to check both of these. So really this is positive 1.732 and negative 1.732. And notice that we do have that as an option. We have both of them, or we have just positive or just negative or no solution. So if we check the positive, log of, if you take a positive number squared, it's still going to be positive. This one is good. So really we only have to check this part because this part is already fine. So if I take positive 1.732 and square it, I'm going to have a positive number. If I take the negative number and square it, it is going to be positive. And the thing about PEMDAS, you're going to be squaring that number before you take the log of that number. So negative times negative is positive. When you put that negative number in there, because of the square, it's going to turn it positive, and then it will work and it will be fine. So both of these are going to be your solution. So then what is the extraneous solution? There are no extraneous solutions. Okay, I would recommend that you do the practice test again. I believe there is a way that you can go in and say that you want to like retake it, or I sent you a paper copy. Try the paper copy. You can just look at it on your screen and like write it down, or if you do have a printer and you want to print it off, that's totally fine. If you want me to unsubmit your practice test that you can try it again, that's fine. Watch this video, watch the videos that Ms. Walls put together. I do have a help session online today, so make sure you check Teams to get the link to go to the online help session. Email me with any questions. Get yourself ready. Your test is going to be on Monday. I will have a last minute help session from 11 a.m. until noon on Monday, just in case any of you want any last minute help before you start the test. Okay? All right, I think that is all. Have I mentioned I miss you all? I really, really, really do. I really miss you. And feel free to jump onto the help session just to say hi, because I, like, legitimately, I miss you guys. I really wish that I was in the classroom talking to you all right now. All right, I'll stop being sappy and get off the video.